strive to be, you know, one of the best places to work. What do you think are the benefits that come with that?
I think there's a lot of benefits that come with it, but the question I think that's kind of more important is why wouldn't they want to be the best place to work? So why don't you want your people and employees to get up in the morning and actually be excited about coming back to work? And I know at RedBalloon we have that. People go on holidays and a lot of people have that, oh, Monday I don't want to go to work, or post-holiday blues.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you hire people that are actually, you know, committed to your purpose, those kind of things come naturally with it as well, and people actually want to come to work. So if you put your people first, I think it makes a big difference in terms of those kind of best practice to work things. They should come naturally if you're committed to your people.
Yeah. What do you think the benefits are, you know, from that, from people actually being excited and wanting to come?
Well, it's definitely the link in performance. So we know if you have happy people at work, there's definitely a link in terms of increase in performance, that extra discretional effort that you're going to get out of them, it'll come naturally. You won't have to ask for it, and you'd be surprised what people can actually give.
Yeah.
And they're truly motivated in their roles.
What do you feel, you know, makes a place a great place to work?
Definitely the people. So the people and a commitment to the purpose of the organisation. So if you can recruit people that are aligned with the purpose of the organisation, then they're happy people at work. Then
So people that are actually in line with the values.
Absolutely, and values plays a big part in, I think, some organisations, and definitely at RedBalloon.
Yeah.
So, for example, our generosity value was built out of someone in our customer experience team. There was a customer who lived kind of far away that wasn't able to get their voucher, so someone from the team drove the voucher out to them.
Organisational structure, how do you think that affects things?
We have a very flat structure, so very open plan, so no one has an office. Everyone's accessible to everyone across the business, and we also have a very structured meeting rhythm, so a communication rhythm. So the leadership team meet at 10 o'clock first thing Monday morning. That information then gets cascaded down into all the team meetings.
Yeah.
And then each individual has either a weekly or a fortnightly with their team meeting with their team leader, so they know what's going on with the flow of the business. Yeah. And the weekly one-on-one's really important, because what that means is you get to the end of trimester, so our business functions in trimesters, and when they get to their review, it's not a surprise factory. So the fact is,
I was just going to
they've had all
mention
those weekly check-ins and everyone knows how everyone's progressing, and then the trimester review is more of a reflection on what's been achieved or potentially not achieved over the last 4 months.
Yeah, okay, so just keeping that structure and being disciplined with the
exactly.
communication.
Yeah, the discipline's a huge thing, and the simplicity of it as well really helps with it.
And how would you say things have changed, you know, from RedBalloon from the start to how it is now, and how you've built on that culture?
So I've been with the business for 5 years.
Okay.
How would I say that's changed? I think we've gotten a lot smarter with some of our processes and the whole simplicity of everything that we do. So our employee experience at RedBalloon is made up by 6 different pillars. So there's welcome, flow, tools, grow, appreciate, and wellness. And within all of those pillars, it kind of demonstrates what we do in each of those. So for welcome, it's all about recruitment and group interviews and values-based recruitment, those kinds of things. And that's been built up over the last couple of years. I put that framework in about 2 years ago.
Right.
And before that, it was kind of the beginnings of a structure in terms of the employee experience framework.
And this is quite visible.
Well, so
information's quite available across.
Absolutely, So when we have newbies start, they go through an online induction program, and that framework's available to them from day dot. So that's even way before they're started. So as soon as I get their signed contract, I send them the link to the online induction, and they go through the history of the values, the framework, and then all the policies and procedures, those kind of fun things as well.
Yeah, and then obviously everybody understands their role and how.
Absolutely, And the one thing that we don't have, so we don't have what you call typical job descriptions. What we have is role expectations. So everyone knows what's expected of them in their roles. So it might be anywhere between 5 or 10 bullet points. It's kind of looked at probably on a annual basis in terms of making sure that those expectations are still aligned with what is expected of everyone. Because my biggest thing is if people don't know what's expected of them, how will they know what they're doing?
Yeah, and how can they measure themselves as well, or even challenge themselves? So in terms of, you know, actual benefits and things outside of RedBalloon, or, you know, just in your opinion, do you think there can be any negative negative impacts of
I think
incentives and benefits?
I do think sometimes companies can potentially go a little bit too far. So
Okay.
where's the line in terms of, you know, what an employer should offer versus what, you know, any individual is responsible for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think some companies can run the risk of having an entitlement culture. So if you give too much, then the expectations continue to grow.
Okay.
And how do you keep up with that all the time? So I think it's a really fine balance to get benefits right within companies. And we've taken things away before that haven't worked. So a few years ago we had a RedBalloon rewards card, like a cheaper movie tickets, discount off your petrol, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And there was a fair participation rate of it, but we knew it wasn't working, so then we took it away and then we put in a wellness program. So it's about not being afraid to try
and to actually get feedback.
Exactly
as
right.
well. Obviously working in the recruitment industry is obviously, you know, a very incentive driven industry as well. But I mean, I think keeping it fresh and keeping it meaningful, like you say.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I love about my job. So Ali and I, who's my employee experience coordinator, we love coming up with kind of new ideas and things that haven't been done before. So, for example, for our Christmas party this year, we made a whole day event out of it. So there's breakfast, and then we had a photo booth come into the office just to take kind of pre-Christmas photos, and then we celebrated the cute teens in here with, you know, RedBalloon style cocktails, and it's all about kind of keep things as fresh as possible, because my biggest thing is I don't want anyone to ever start to expect anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in terms of you know, the economy at the moment, obviously, you know, there has been some changes. How do you think companies can go about cutting costs, maybe where benefits are concerned, but keep the atmosphere and keep the feeling the same?
I'd say that kind of sentiment's been around for a couple of years in terms of, you know, cost cutting and tight economy and where should you spend your money, etc., etc. But for me, if we're talking about benefits, it's ask your people what they want. Do they like that particular benefit? Do they use it? So use an anonymous survey to find out if people actually like the benefits that they have, and make sure you've got a fair balance. And the thing for me, if you can link, you know, benefits back to pay, as long as pay is fair and reasonable, the benefits on top should just be like, you know, something nice that sits on top.
Just to round up then, are there 3 tips that you would say, if, you know, to maybe creating a good place to work?
Yeah, my 3 tips would definitely be to believe in your purpose of the business and get everyone aligned in the purpose of what you do, and from a business perspective. So for example, at RedBalloon, our purpose is all about happiness. So we're about creating happy in people's lives through experiences and happy workplaces through our corporate team. So whatever your purpose in your organisation is, make sure people are aligned with that, and recruit people that believe in your purpose as well. Makes a big difference. The second one would be about values. So live and breathe your values. Don't just plaster them all over your walls. At RedBalloon, we don't have our meeting rooms named after our values. We don't have our values stuck up all over the wall. We don't have post-it notes with our values on them, but we live and breathe them every day, and the values really underpin the recruitment process, our performance management process, and our reward and recognition system at RedBalloon. So they're really a part of the everyday. And my third one would be to really believe in your people leaders and train them and mentor them accordingly. So in any kind of business, whether you've got an employee experience team, HR team, whatever it might be, that spend a lot of time kind of wanting to really underpin and drive a culture. I think culture is actually driven within each team, and that obviously that is headed up by a people leader or a team leader or a manager, whatever you want to call them. And I think it's the real investment that you make in those people that will make a difference.
Continued investment.
Absolutely. They do say that, you know, people leave their managers as one of the #1 things, depending on what survey you look at. And I really do believe in that, because I've done that in past jobs as well. I've left managers because either they were leaving or I hadn't liked them or whatever it might have been. But if you can really invest in your people leaders to, you know, really believe in that purpose and really live that values, that'll go down into the rest of the teams as well.
Brilliant, brilliant. All right, well, thank you so much, Megan.
No,
definitely.
No problem.
No, that's been really enjoyable. I think there's a few incentives that I like the sound of in there. So.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me in.
Thank you.